The wealthy don't earn income. They hold assets inside trusts that legally owe zero taxes while you surrender 30% of every paycheck. This isn't a loophole they're hiding. It's the playbook they assume you'll never read. Here's the question that should keep you up at night. Why does a family worth $50 million often pay a lower effective tax rate than a nurse earning $70,000? The answer isn't offshore accounts or shady dealings. It's something far more elegant and completely legal. Trust accounts represent the single most powerful wealth-building tool in American finance, yet 93% of families earning under $200,000 have never established one. Meanwhile, virtually every family in the top 1% uses multiple trust structures. But here's where it gets interesting. The cost to establish a basic trust starts around $1,000. That's accessible to most middle-class families. So why don't they? Because the financial education system was designed to create workers, not wealth builders. And that's exactly what we're going to expose today. Let's start with the brutal math of income tax. When you earn $1 at your job, the government takes its cut before you ever see that money. Federal income tax, state income tax, Social Security, Medicare. For a household earning $150,000, you're losing roughly $40,000 annually before paying a single bill. Over a 30-year career, that's $1.2 million transferred directly to the government. Now compare that to someone who inherits $50 million in appreciated assets through a properly structured trust. Thanks to something called stepped-up basis, the capital gains that accumulated over decades are completely eliminated. Not deferred. Eliminated. If Grandpa bought stocks for $1 million that grew to $50 million, his heirs pay capital gains on zero of that growth. The tax basis resets to current value at death. This is not a glitch. This is the system working exactly as designed. But let me shift your perspective for a moment. Pause twos, imagine you're not you. Imagine you're born into a family that's been wealthy for 4 generations. Your great-great-grandfather established the original trust in 1923. Every generation since has added to it, restructured it, and expanded it across multiple entities. You've never filed a W-2 in your life. You don't receive a salary. Instead, you receive distributions from various trusts that own the assets generating your lifestyle. These distributions are structured as long-term capital gains, taxed at a maximum of 20% federally, not 37% like ordinary income. Some distributions come from trusts in states with no income tax at all. Your effective rate? Often under 15%. Meanwhile, your pool cleaner earning $60,000 pays a higher percentage than you do. SFX, dramatic sound, and here's the pattern interrupt nobody mentions. This isn't about being evil or greedy. This is about understanding the rules of a game you didn't know existed. The tax code isn't one document. It's over 74,000 pages designed by lobbyists and legislators who often share the same wealth advisors. Every complexity creates an opportunity. Every exception benefits someone. And trusts represent the most powerful legal exception available. Here's why this matters to you specifically. The Rockefellers, Waltons, and Kochs didn't build dynasties by earning income. They built them by owning assets inside protective structures that compound tax-free across generations. The Walton family trust alone has shielded an estimated $30 billion from estate taxes since Sam Walton's death. That's not money they hid. That's money they legally structured to stay in the family forever. And the tools they used? Available to you today. Not the same scale obviously, but the same principles. The same code sections. The same strategies. But that's not even the real story here. Pause twos, what? I'm about to show you is why financial advisors at major banks almost never suggest trusts to clients with less than $5 million. It's not because you don't qualify. It's because they don't profit. When a bank sells you a mutual fund, they earn ongoing fees every single year. When you establish a trust with an independent attorney, that bank earns nothing. They've done studies on this. Clients with trust structures are 90% less likely to use expensive bank products. They manage wealth independently. They pass assets directly to heirs without probate fees. They maintain privacy that bank accounts never provide. So ask yourself, has your banker ever sat you down and explained how trusts could benefit your family? SFX, dramatic sound. If not, now you understand why. Their silence isn't ignorance. It's incentive. Now let me break down the specific trust types that wealthy families use. First, the revocable living trust. This is the entry point. You maintain full control while alive, but assets pass to beneficiaries without probate upon death. Probate can consume 3 to 7% of an estate in legal fees. On a $500,000 estate, that's $15,000 to $35,000 saved. Second, the irrevocable trust. Once assets go in, they're legally no longer yours. Sounds scary until you realize this means they're not subject to your creditors, lawsuits, or estate taxes. You've legally given them away while still directing how they're used. Third, the dynasty trust. In states like Nevada, South Dakota, and Delaware, these trusts can exist for centuries. Not decades. Centuries. The Rockefellers structured their wealth this way in the 1930s. Their descendants will benefit for hundreds of years without ever paying estate tax on those original assets. Here's the mathematical reality that changes everything. Let's compare two families starting with identical $500,000 portfolios earning 7% annually. Family A uses standard taxable brokerage accounts, pays capital gains taxes on dividends and rebalancing, and eventually pays estate tax at death. Family B uses an irrevocable trust with tax-efficient placement, qualified dividends, and generational transfer through stepped-up basis. After 30 years and one generational transfer, Family A has passed approximately $1.1 million to heirs after taxes. Family B? Nearly $2.2 million reaches the next generation. Same starting point. Same return rate. Double the outcome. The only difference was the container holding the assets. Pause twos, this is why wealth concentrates. Not because the rich earn more. Because they keep more of what they earn across generations. The game isn't rigged against you. You're just playing by different rules than they are. So what does this mean for someone who isn't a millionaire yet? More than you think. You don't need massive wealth to benefit from trust planning. You need assets you want to protect and transfer efficiently. A home equity of $200,000. Retirement accounts you'll eventually pass to children. A life insurance policy with beneficiaries. Even a small investment portfolio. Each of these can be positioned inside trust structures to avoid probate, reduce estate exposure, and maintain family privacy. The starting point isn't wealth. The starting point is awareness. Many estate planning attorneys offer initial consultations for free or low cost. They can evaluate your specific situation and explain which structures make sense at your current level. And here's what nobody tells you. Many trusts can be established for $1,000 to $3,000. If that trust saves your family $30,000 in probate costs and taxes, you've earned a 10-to-1 return before counting any investment growth. Let me address the biggest objection I hear. Trusts are too complicated for regular people. That's precisely what wealthy families want you to believe. Complexity is the moat protecting their advantages. In reality, a basic revocable living trust is simpler than most people imagine. You create the trust document with an attorney. You retitle your major assets into the trust name. You designate beneficiaries and trustees. You update it when circumstances change. That's it. You maintain full control during your lifetime. Nothing changes about how you use or access your money. The difference appears at death when your family avoids courts, fees, and public records. For irrevocable trusts, yes, the giving up control part requires more thought. But consider what you're giving up control to achieve. Asset protection, tax efficiency, and generational wealth transfer. Wealthy families gladly sacrifice control for these benefits. Why wouldn't you at least consider it? There's one more truth wealthy families understand that changes everything. The tax code rewards long-term holding and punishes short-term earning. When you work for income, you pay immediately at the highest rates. When you hold assets, you defer taxes until sale and pay at lower rates. When you hold assets until death inside a trust, you eliminate those accumulated gains entirely through stepped-up basis. This is why the billionaire class often shows surprisingly low taxable income. Warren Buffett famously pays a lower tax rate than his secretary not because of illegal schemes but because his wealth is in unrealized gains on stock he never sells. The system is designed to benefit patient capital. Working income is taxed, but accumulated wealth is protected. And trusts are the mechanism that makes this multi-generational. Every wealthy family knows this. Now you do too. The question is what you'll do with this knowledge. So here's your action plan. First, assess your current estate situation. What assets do you own? How are they titled? What happens to them if something happens to you tomorrow? Most people cannot answer these questions clearly. Second, schedule a consultation with an estate planning attorney. Not a bank representative. Not a financial advisor selling products. An attorney whose only incentive is helping you structure your affairs correctly. Third, start educating yourself about the specific trust types relevant to your situation. The knowledge gap between wealthy families and everyone else exists because this information isn't taught in schools and isn't promoted by institutions that profit from your ignorance. Fourth, think generationally even if you don't have children yet. The Rockefellers didn't build their dynasty by thinking about next quarter. They thought in terms of centuries. You can start that pattern now, whatever your current net worth. The difference between families that build wealth and families that stay stuck isn't income. It's knowledge applied consistently over time. Now you understand what 93% of families never learn. The wealthy don't pay zero taxes because they cheat. They pay zero taxes because they use legal structures the system was designed to reward. The question isn't whether these tools are available to you.